All right. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the ego and how I have been really struggling because I've been holding on to my sense of pride, my ego, and doing all these things that are stunting me from my personal growth. And it affects multiple areas in my life, from relationships to careers to growing my business, and most importantly, my sense of self, right? And for those that don't know, I have a background in psychology. I went to school for it and was pursuing a career in family marriage counseling, the clinical route. But then I switched to more organizational psychology and have been working in startups and businesses and focusing on community building since college. That being said, personal development and in a sense, social impact has always been really important to me. And I've been really focusing on that a lot lately. And I'm so lucky to have that opportunity and that privilege. That being said, it's a lot of work. It's not always as fun. That being said, it is so important, and I'm so grateful that I'm taking the time and energy to do that, because it is really important to work on yourself, to acknowledge things that aren't working, to update these mental models and belief systems that you had ever since you were younger, see what's impacting you and what's not, and all that stuff, right? So one of the things that I've kind of coming up again and again is a sense of ego and pride, right? We all have this. The ego, in a sense, makes us, more presentable in the world and protects us. It is how we present ourselves to other people and gives us a sense of pride, and I guess that's where it really comes from. But also that sense of pride can really hinder you, especially when it comes to expanding and going out of your comfort zone, and entering the growth zone. So if you don't know, outside of your comfort zone, in order to really grow, you enter the growth zone, which is where you get a lot of growing pains, a lot of struggles, a lot of internal battles, and things like that. Anyways, so for me, I'm acknowledging that things are crazy. It's hard to admit it, but I think I have to really learn how to let go of my sense of pride, in a few ways, right? And the reason I came up with this was I've been learning a lot about relationships and my relationship to relationships, I guess you can say, and how these things impact one another, how it affects different areas of my life, my sense of esteem, my idea of identity, self-love, all that stuff. And so I realized that in many ways, the people that I was attracted and still am attracted to and attracting, it always based on a sense of pride and ego. And I'll be open to admit that I am attracted to people that have very established careers, have a strong sense of self, have a great presence, a really strong sense of confidence, right? I think all these things are very attractive naturally. At the same time, they are physically attractive, they are socially attractive, they are financially attractive, all that stuff. All of that attraction aside, I realized in the last, a lot of the major relationships in my life were not the healthiest. And I'm not blaming them or anything. It's more so I realized that it's both, right? It's takes two to tango, and I realized I was attracting certain types of people, and I was portraying myself in these relationships in a certain way that didn't pan out great for the both of us. That being said, it was a learning lesson, and now I'm really taking time to acknowledge what worked and what didn't work, and kind of updating my relationship belief system. And so going back to a sense of pride and ego, I realized that I was choosing partners not on how they made me feel, and in many ways ways, they did make me feel great. They validated me. They made me feel safe for a time. They supported me. I did the same for them. But in that, things broke down. And I realized now, looking at it, is that I was attracting these people that were satisfying my ego than my emotional needs at the time, right? And I think that when you're young, you go through these experiences, and it takes time. You have to, in many ways, I was always like a very curious human being, and always love to learn about relationships with other people and learn from their mistakes and their lessons. That being said, you're not going to learn as much until you experience it yourself and see how your dynamic meshes with other people. So in terms of letting go of my pride, I was able to start to unlearn and accept that the people that I should be attracting and want to attract and want to be attracted to are people that are good for me, right? And this is something my friend Maria pointed out, is that yes, they can be all those things that I'm interested in. That being said, are they good for me? Are they satisfying that emotional need, that emotional intimacy and intellectual intimacy and all these things? In any ways, my partners did. At the same time, there weren't other things didn't work out. But this isn't just about relationships, right? This is about also career as well. Like for me, whether it's in my full-time jobs or day jobs, quote unquote, and my startups, I realized my pride was getting in the way because apparently I get a lot of feedback that I look very confident and sure of myself and doing amazing things. At the same time, I'm like, whoa, like that's not all me. That's a part of me, but I'm not super confident all the time. I don't have it all together, right? I still say and ahs in recordings, even though people have graciously complimented that I'm articulate. And if you see me all fired up, you'll see I'm not very articulate. That being said, I realized that I could always go deeper, in a sense that I can very much learn to be a little braver, put myself in a position where I am scared more and I may fail, but it's so important to be vulnerable in that sense, to not only push myself to grow, but create that space, because I think that's what Strive is about. Create that space for others to feel comfortable in their vulnerability, in their insecurity, in moments of turmoil and growth, growing pains and different things like that. I realized that in some ways I do ask for help. In some ways I am comfortable asking for help and saying like, hey, can you help me with this? Can you support me with that? In bigger ways, when I really fail, right? When I feel like I've like fucked up big time, honestly, that is when I kind of crawl back into my shell. I get terrified of what's gonna happen if people find out. What are people gonna think of me? And in some ways, I am brave, that I'm like, this is who I am, this is me. A lot of people like this, some people don't, and that's okay. At the same time, going that extra mile to show the even rawer, if that's a word, even more raw side, I'm scared of that. And I think that's normal. I think that's okay to be scared of that. I think I could do better at opening myself up and showing to other people that they can also be raw, again, if that's a word, be more vulnerable, ask for help, even when they feel like they fucked up so badly. Because it only feels that way. It feels that way temporarily. Maybe even years from now, we'll think, oh yeah, we really did fucked up that time, right? But we're gonna move on. We're gonna get past it. This too shall pass, right? And I realize that in this journey, if I'm able to slowly let go of my sense of pride and this strong grip on ego and what people think of me and how they perceive me and their relationships with me and all these different things, I will be able to have and live a more authentic life. I will be able to grow at such a different rate and pace. I will be able to help people, which is all I ever wanted, to grow themselves as well and to explore that area of personal development, to also pursue dreams that are scary AF, to pursue a more authentic life that is open and honest with who they are and what they want, and create that space for vulnerability. I think that is where love grows. That's where growth happens. And I think that's where we really get to learn about ourselves. When people are not around, who we are, we get to learn who we are in the quietest moments. And we can't do that if we're so worried about what other people are going to think. And so even if we are this great person in private, which we have every right to be, I also want to invite others to allow people to see that greatness too. And that's not always easy. And again, this is a personal development journey. That's why strive and not you're there yet. You're constantly striving to be better. And how I feel about this might be completely different in an hour, a year, a couple years from now. But it's another level of growth. And now I'm able to explore and really start to identify what my ego is saying or what my pride is trying to communicate, right? I think I've come to a place in my life where I've developed a different relationship with my emotions and my defense mechanisms and my coping mechanisms. I'm able to identify that they are there to protect me and they are there to support me, and they're just scared. They're just scared to protect this inner child, this person that I am. So they are the shields. They are the shields to the outside world, the judgment, the bullying, the criticisms, the harshness, and the not so nice part of humanity, right? But now I'm learning to also negotiate with them and talk to them about, hey, thank you for protecting me. Thank you so much for looking out for me and being there for me. I want to proceed forward. I want to proceed in the discomfort. I want to proceed in the areas of the unknown and the mystery of it all, and the gray areas a little bit. So we're gonna go on this journey together, and it's gonna be okay. You're gonna try and protect me, and I'm gonna acknowledge it. I'm gonna appreciate you for it. But thank you, emotions. Thank you, defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms. I'll take it from here. And I think that's where we're able to grow, is to just take our whole selves with us. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it causes you to question, what are your emotions telling you? What is your pride and ego holding you back from? And what do you think can happen if you're able to overcome the drowning voices of your ego and pride? So I hope you will remember to be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself and other people, and continue striving towards your goals. My name is Melissa Pele, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.